Hi, my name is Sophia, and I've worked under the mentorship of Professor Isabella Cheshelska-Robo. And today I'm presenting my project, The Impact of Fiber Structure on Microfiber Release During Domestic Washing. This project studied how fabric structure influences microfiber shedding and whether containment products like the guppy friend bag can reduce pollution. I tested 7 fabric categories across 2 domestic washing methods. The results showed that structure matters just as much as fiber type, and containment reduces dispersal but redistributes fibers onto towels. This project is still ongoing. Due to lab renovations, the high-tech testing phase will take place later in my mentor's lab in the University of Rhode Island. Microfibers are tiny, persistent pollutants. They've been found in plankton, seafood, and even human brain tissue. Most research focuses on fiber type, such as polyester versus cotton, but very little work has examined fiber structure, knits, wovens, pile fabrics, and how that influences shedding in realistic washing conditions. That was the central question of my research. My mentor, Professor Cheshelska Rabo, gave me very specific research assignments. I cited webinars, academic papers, and industry standards. For example, I learned about ISO 4484 and ATCC TM212. These methods are very accurate, but also expensive and impractical for non-labs. ISO 4484 requires a gyro wash system machine that simulates laundering under controlled agitation, plus vacuum filtration equipment, and more. AATCC TM212 requires standardized laundering machines, specialized filter setups, and industry membership fees for access. Both are extremely resource heavy, making them inaccessible for everyday consumers or a home setup. Based on my mentor's guidance, we instead designed a household based study using 2 methods: standard domestic washing and the Guppy Friend containment bag. My mentor sourced swatches and shipped them to me. My job was to cut them into uniform sizes, between 5 and 7 centimeter squares, and to finish the edges. I stitched many swatches by hand, and for synthetics, I heat sealed the edges to mimic how actual garments behaved in the wash. This was all very detail oriented, but it was crucial to ensure fairness between the fabrics. We tested polyester, acrylic, cotton, and nylon in both knit and woven forms, as well as blends. Some special fabrics like denim, chenille, and velveteen were included because they were known to shed heavily. Before any washing, my mentor measured thickness and weight using lab instruments so that we could have baseline data for after the results. In method 1, I washed 21 swatches together with towels in a washing machine called GEGFQ14 for 33 minutes per cycle using the standard Tide unscented detergent. We included the towels to simulate a typical household laundry load. Clothes are rarely washed in isolation, and adding towels created the friction and the mechanical stress of real-life laundering. After each cycle, I removed 1 swatch of every fabric type, cleaned the machine drum, and collected all visible microfibers. Every set of fibers was carefully stored in labeled Ziploc bags and later shipped to my mentor for weighing on her lab scale. In method 2, I followed the exact same steps, but all swatches were placed inside guppy friend bags. After each 33-minute cycle, I collected fibers from inside the bags as well as the wastewater. Again, all samples were cleaned, separated, and stored in labeled Ziploc bags to be weighed later in the lab. Across both methods, the first wash cycle produced the highest microfiber release. This was to be expected because at the beginning, all 21 swatches were still in the machine, so there was simply just more fabric surface area available to shed from. By the second and third cycles, fewer swatches remained, so the total shedding naturally decreased. Denim, velveteen, and chenille were consistently the worst offenders. The guppy friend bag reduced the number of fibers floating in the water, but many fibers adhered to the towels and stuck to them. This shows that containment works, but it doesn't fully solve the problem because it just shifts the fiber's destination. The key takeaway is that the fabric structure does matter. Knits shed more than wovens. Pile fabrics like velveteen or bulky yarns shed far more than smoother weaves. fiber compositions is still very important. Synthetics shed more, but structure can amplify or reduce the shedding. There are also many different important limitations to discuss. My domestic setup at my house cannot match the precision of standardized lab equipment. I only tested three wash cycles for 33 minutes. Longer term studies suggest that shedding stabilizes after around 6 to 8 washes. I did not have access to a lab scale, only kitchen scale, so I had to rely on shipping fibers back to my mentor for testing. Kitchen scales were just too imprecise, and lab scales were too expensive. Factors like detergent chemistry, finishing chemicals, or filter pore sizes in the washing machine were also not controlled. And the study captures only new fabric behavior because aged or worn fabrics may shed differently. Most importantly, though, this project is unfinished. My mentor's lab was under renovation, so we have not yet used her gyro wash or precision scales. That next phase will give more reliable, quantifiable results and analysis. The next steps include running standardized ISO 4484 one gyro wash tests that my mentor will have in her lab, weighing fiber loss with sensitive lab equipment, and extending the cycles to see long term shedding behavior. We will also compare how well my household data aligns with lab standard data. This project was just much more about research skills as it was about science. Cutting and stitching dozens of swatches taught me patience and consistency and helped me to fully go through each step of this process. Recording and cleaning every wash taught me how careful real research has to be, and sending all samples back in Ziploc bags and also all of the fabric swatches after they were washed made me realize the logistical side of science, that it's not about data, but it's also about coordinating and luck. My mentor guided me step by step, challenging me with technical research and asking me to set up the experiment while she couldn't, especially because we were in such different places. And we were basically going through a lot of these technical research, and she was trusting me to handle these at home. So it definitely deepened my commitment to textile sustainability and showed me that even small scale research, like the ones that I can do domestically, can meaningfully connect to global environmental challenges. I would like to thank my mentor, Professor Czeszelska Rabo, for her mentorship, and the Talaria Summer Research Institute for making this work possible. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening.